Welcome back, Axis and Allies players, straight from the nest. It's Wars of the World, Series 3, the Napoleonic Wars. NATO's going to lead us through this introduction and through all of our scenarios. Take it away, NATO, and show us how it's done.
Hello everybody, this is Nato at the Nest with the second half of the 1813 turn of the Napoleonic Wars. And starting with England, England completed its infantry square research, finally. So that means enemy cavalry are completely useless against the British army. On the flip side, if the British declare infantry squares before the battle starts, it also makes the opposing cannon more effective, gives opposing cannon +1. So that is something to consider for if and when they use it. Attack-wise, England attacked Leon Castile in northern Spain and almost pushed the British out of Leon Castile. Almost pushed the French out of Leon Castile. Northern Spain was more of a draw, and that was the only combat for the British. All they did was, purchase-wise, is purchased that you see there, or an infantry and 2 cavalry, 2 cannon, and then put another infantry in Ottawa, and then dumped four militia in Ontario, anticipating the American attack. Spain attacked Atlantic side Mexico, wasn't able to do hardly anything. It was a defeat for Spain. I think it was 2-1 casualties. And then the attack in San Francisco went better, reduced the Mexican rebels down to an infantry and a militia. And then that was it combat-wise for Spain. They just moved up existing forces up Central America, and then that's what they purchased, one apiece, 1 infantry, cavalry, and cannon. Russia reinforced Prussia, and then attacked the French in East Poland and reduced them down to an infantry and a cannon, so almost pushed them out. And then, like I said, reinforced Prussia, and then moved everything out. And so next turn we'll get to see that massive stack hitting the French in Prussia. And it will be the largest single engagement of the channel so far. There'll be well over 30 units involved combined, or actually it'll be probably close to somewhere between 40 to 50 units involved, so it'll be the largest single engagement of the channel so far. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And then continue with the strategy, put in fast cavalry in the south and attacking France to southeast Europe to pull forces away from the main front, and then just dumped as many troops as it could in the north to send towards Prussia. Prussia still can't do anything. Sweden landed more troops in Western Germany and some militia to continue with the strategy of diverting French forces away from Russia. So it's completely cut off French reinforcements to the Prussian front. So we'll see if that's enough to tip the battle in Russia's favor. France, the big news with France is they managed to take Prussia, so Prussia has fallen. At least for now, because East Prussia is the capital. If Russia can push the French out of East Prussia, it'll liberate Prussia, and Prussia can come back into the game, but for now, Prussia is out. and then made an counterattack in eastern Poland. Didn't go anywhere. And then France made an attack against the British in Leon Castile, also didn't go anywhere. So France attacked the Swedish in Western Germany, also a defeat. So everywhere France attacked was a defeat except for Prussia. That was their only victory this turn. And then just dumped as many troops as it could afford in every factory it had. So 3 infantry, cavalry, and a cannon. Infantry, 2 cavalry and a cannon. 3 infantry, cavalry, and a cannon. Big news with Portugal. Portugal went on the offensive and pushed the French out of Extremadura, or southwestern Spain. So that's another point for the Allies, if they can keep it for the rest of the game. And so that's putting France in a very difficult position in Spain, because now they have 3 fronts that they got to fight. The 2 British in the north, and now Portugal in the south. And it doesn't have the numbers to fight all 3, so we'll see what France can conjure up to try to rectify that. America has begun the invasion of Canada. Sorry, Canada. But there it is. Ontario has been invaded. Like I said the last video, our bad, but this is what happened in history, so here you are. And did well. Took down 2 militia for the cost of 1 of theirs, and they attacked the British in New England, and everything missed. And other than that, they just bought another frigate and 3 cavalry, and infantry, and a cannon. Mexico counterattacked everywhere. Counterattacked the East Atlantic, reduced Spain down to 1 infantry. And then attacked San Francisco and reduced them down to an infantry and 2 cannon. So both wins for the Mexican rebels, keeping the Spanish more or less on the defensive. And that was it for the turn. Then next turn we'll come back with a new year, 1814. And the last couple turns before this is all over. Well, for France and everybody, Spain and Mexico will be fighting for the next 8 or so turns. But so the conflict is almost over, so we'll see you back with the new year.
Hello everybody, this is Nato with the first half of the 1814 turn of the Napoleonic Wars.
And England, let's see where, England made 2 attacks. Yeah, England made 2 attacks, attacking northern Spain, reduced France down to 1 unit in northern Spain, and then attacked in Leon Castile, and that went kind of poorly. They had more than, no, sorry, and the attack went poorly, and unfortunately reduced them down to 1 infantry. That was it attack-wise. So England's got to, what they got? They got 1, 2, 3 turns left. So England's got to figure out a way to gobble up as much of Spain as possible in 3 turns to take away as many victory points from France as it can, so they don't lose the scenario. So Yeah, it's going to be a combination of contesting Madrid so France can't get troops out to the rest of Spain, and then probably working with Portugal to take the outlying territories while England keeps France busy in Madrid. That's one possibility. And maybe take that force, maybe land it somewhere in homeland France to keep that away from Spain, so it can't interfere in Spain. Maybe. So I don't know. We'll see what England does. Spain attacked Atlantic side Mexico. It was a complete disaster. Lost all but one unit. And then they attacked San Francisco as well. They reduced them down to 3 units, an infantry and 2 cannon. And then it brought its transport back so it can pick up more units and take them to San Francisco, which, as you saw, it desperately needs. And then moved stuff north, and then bought more troops, infantry, 2 cavalry, and a cannon. And that was it for Spain. And then the colossal fight for Prussia happened. And it was a massive fight that involved somewhere between 30 and 40 total units altogether, Russian and French forces. Altogether, there's somewhere around between 30 and 40 units. And when it was all said and done, the combined casualties were 21. So one roll of the dice, 21 units were hit. 11 Russian and 10 French. So it was a huge fight. That's a lot of hardware that was removed from the board in one roll of the dice. But as you can see, France still holds Prussia, at least for now. The Allied campaign of opening up as many fronts as possible and spreading French resources out as much as possible is paying off, as France is currently unable to reinforce Prussia, whereas Russia can reinforce its troops in Prussia indefinitely. So the Allied strategy of spreading France thin is working. Now the only question is can they make that into positive gains fast enough before the scenario ends? So, like I said, there's only 3 more turns before the main war ends. So it's all a question of, can the Allies get positive gains fast enough? So we'll have to see on whether or not that happens. Russia also attacked East Poland, and drove the French out of East Poland. And then that was it for Russia. Non-combat move-wise, just did the same thing it's been doing last several turns, just buying cavalry and Cossacks in the southern front, moving it west, buying regular troops in the north, and moving it to Prussia. And kind of just a overwhelm France through sheer numbers kind of strategy, because Russia has the people and the resources to do it. Sweden continuing to reinforce West Germany and continuing to fight West Germany and because of its proximity to Berlin and Paris, France has no choice but to continue fighting that, so it's pulling all reinforcements away from Prussia, which was the reason for landing there in the first place. So until France pushes the Prussians out of West Germany, it cannot reinforce Prussia, which gives the advantage to Russia. Speaking of France, France did not counterattack in Prussia, deciding on a strictly defensive policy. France did try to attack the Russians in East Poland, and it was an utter disaster. The French didn't cause a single casualty on the Russians, and the Russians destroyed 2 cavalry and a cannon, leaving only 1 French unit left. France's other attack is France came out of Madrid, attacked the Portuguese forces in southwest Spain, and managed to contest it. And let's see, yeah, that was their only attack in Spain. Let's see, and that was all the combat for France. But purchase-wise, it bought as many ground units as it could afford. So 3 infantry, cavalry, and a cannon in Berlin and Madrid, and then an infantry, 2 cavalry, and a cannon in Austria. And then what was previously in Austria moved it east to fight the Russian southern front. And that was it for France. Portugal counterattacked in southwest Spain and drove the French out of southwest Spain. So now that opens up a couple doors for the Allies in Spain. So, like I said earlier, if England can contest Madrid, that will pretty much give the Portuguese forces a free hand to run amok in the outlying territories. And that was it for Portugal. America continuing to contest Ontario, but did manage to drive the British out of New England, so America will be able to lay siege to Ottawa next turn. But next turn will be the last turn that the Americans are involved in the war. So, assuming that Ottawa or Ontario doesn't fall next turn, the American War of 1812 will end in a draw, as neither side was able to gain any victory points, so assuming that happens. Mexico counterattacked in Atlantic side of Mexico and drove the Spanish out completely. And then they also counterattacked in San Francisco. Come on, camera. They counterattacked in San Francisco, and huge success for Mexico because they got 2 hits, destroyed 2 Spanish cannon for no losses of their own. And that was, and then Mexico bought an infantry and a cannon. And that was it for the turn. Like I said, next turn will be America's last turn for the scenario. And things starting to deteriorate for France as the combined military and industrial might of the Allies is finally starting to overwhelm the French. As they're facing, fighting 4 different nations all by themselves at this point. So the question is, can France hold them off long enough for the scenario to be over? Because right now, if it ended right now, France would win. So that's the big question: is can France hold out long enough? America advancing in its war, but once again, same thing as the French. The British in North America just got to hold out long enough. And the Mexican Revolution is still ongoing. that still has a number of years left to play out. So with that, I think we'll end it, and we'll come back with the second half of 1814. See you then.
Hey, thanks for watching Axis and Allies players. Don't forget to hit a squat on that like button. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, go ahead and click on our subscribe button. You can view all of our other videos on our playlists right here on Viper and NATO, straight from the nest, coming at you from historical board games, Z-Man Games, Parker Brothers, Hasbro, and Wizards of the Coast. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next round.